Hey.
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Look, we got a lot to talk about, y'all, because I've been sitting on the show. I just want y'all to know the anxiety that y'all have caused me watching this. But I mean, one of the first questions I wanted to know is, actually being able to see yourself on TV during the series, what is something that you've learned about yourself, that you've wanted to work on or something that you've learned that to help your relationship? What has that been like?
Watching it back, I'm like, man, like I'm a little snappy sometimes. I had to reel that in. So definitely something that I've been working on since the show wrapped, but certainly since watching it back, I was like, yeah, girl, you gotta chill sometimes. That's that's one for me.
I think prior to coming on the show, my number one thing was I just need you to listen more. But looking back on it, I also needed to be a better listener as well. And I think that's something that I was working on, and I feel like I grew in that aspect.
You have, baby, you have.
Okay. Y'all better self-reflect. But I mean, after now, not just learning about yourself, after seeing what your significant others was doing on the show, what was that conversation like? Tell me the truth, shame the devil. Tell me the truth.
Yeah. I mean, look, our policy is like, be honest, let's address it, and we're going to figure out if we can work past it or not. And luckily we were able to work past it. I mean, it took some time. It took us taking a break after the show and then coming back together. I mean, it was a lot, but yeah, I mean, I just had to bring it up and just call it what it was. I told him everything that kind of happened between Zay and I. And he shared with me what him and Madlyn's experience was. And we were just like, okay, well, just got to swallow that and keep moving.
Definitely was a tough pill to swallow, but you're both honest and upfront with each other. So I just think that that's what helped.
But I mean, what was the decision afterwards to take a break? Where did that come from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the show revealed a lot, like to us individually, right? About ourselves, like what we actually want in a relationship, what was probably missing still and was going to take some time. It's not going to just be fixed in 8 weeks that we filmed the show. So I definitely think that we looked at it and we're like, look, like there are a lot of factors to this. If we want to actually have like a healthy, happy like marriage, let's take a step back and actually get into some of these things before we just make that commitment, because obviously things were on a timeline with the show, and so we just wanted to make sure we were sure of what we were doing.
Like that.
Yeah,
Randall said I gonna say nothing.
Well, she explained it all, and I think the break was something that we both saw coming, because obviously within these 8 weeks of filming, it's a crash course of everything in the relationship. And once the cameras are away, you're still stuck with those thoughts, still stuck with those things, because things aren't going to be fixed overnight. And as much as you think that they were fixed prior to that engagement, still bad habits can arise. So I just think the break was best for us and allowed us to kind of work on ourselves. Not saying that we were away from each other during that break, because we weren't. We were still hanging out, still communicating, and still seeing each other. But I think that break helped us just come back stronger than ever.
Okay, I really like that. Man, I wish I had more time to delve into this.
We can talk some more, Shauna.
Pick me out, y'all. But I just want to thank the both of you for taking the time to speak with me today. I'm just sending so much love and light both your ways. And I just hope you have a really great rest of your day. Thank you so much.
So much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Bye.
Bye.
How you doing today, April?
Hey, Sharonda.
Hey. Giving me the blind, giving me this green. Okay, spring is here. I'm here for it.
Yes.
Look, we got a lot to talk about, April, because I don't like how you were disrespected. I just don't. So we got to talk about it. I want to go to the part where we had the switch, where we went back to our original partners. Did you feel as though that Jay just chose violence? Like he was just trying to pick fights from the day you stepped back into the apartment?
Yeah, I I felt like I couldn't even be myself, or like if I said a word, I was going to get in trouble. Like walking in that door, I knew I was walking in on thin ice.
Mm-hmm.
And that was scary for me because I don't like feeling like that. Like I have to watch what I say because then his outcome reacts and cameras are rolling. Like it was just better, just like, all right, just let it go. And we just got to ride these 3 weeks out.
Did you have like, it seemed like you were very scared for when you got to decision day. You know, did you kind of have it in the back of your mind that even before he had originally stepped back into that apartment with you, that his mind was already made up?
Yeah. I think a part of me felt like this was a nerve-wracking moment for him because I felt like maybe he doesn't know what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And that scared me more than anything because I was like, if you want to marry me, like don't walk away because you don't know. Like, let's work this out. Like we walked down here together. We can figure it out. And my biggest fear was that he was going to say, hey, like I fell in love with this girl in 3 weeks and I'm going to go run off with her. Which he said he wasn't going to do, but he did anyway. So it was a whirlwind of like me having my hopes, like maybe he's going to get it together and he's going to realize like, hey, this is ending. Like we have to go back to reality. I want to be with you. So I had a little bit of hopes in there and you can kind of see me smile. And then right when he tells me like, I can't marry, I was just broken.
Look, I was just like, you are so disrespectful, Jake. I'm just not going to tolerate this longer. But I mean, you were the one who issued the ultimatum. You know, you knew that.
I can't be mad.
Yeah, but I mean, do you feel as though do you still agree with your decision to originally give him the ultimatum, knowing what the outcome was?
1000%. I feel like if I didn't go on this ultimatum, then I would still be unhappy and still be nagging here a year later. And if I didn't go on this ultimatum, I wouldn't be where I am now with the blonde hair and the muscles now.
Okay, I was looking at those muscles, girl. I was like, okay, I saw. I'll so compliment you later. I saw. But I mean, have you had, I know it's like a show and everything's very abrupt. Have you had time to really reconcile and really have that closure with Jake? Or has it just been like, I'm not talking to you ever again?
I mean, you can only say how you feel and speak on your behalf. I can't speak for him or pull it out of him, but I have told him on numerous occasions, I'm always going to be there for you no matter what. Like we both moved here. I mean, my mom's here. His family's 3 hours away. And I told him like, you're 10 minutes away. If you ever have an emergency or you can get anything, don't ever hesitate to call me. I still have love for you. Like I'm not going to be very disrespectful and just like totally write you off because at the end of the day, I spent 2 years of my life with you and we went through this experience together. So I wish him the best. I truly do. We had a beautiful relationship, and which is the sucky part that you don't see on reality TV, what the relationship looked like before, because it was fun and beautiful and giggly, but you know, this just revealed the true colors of the relationship, and that's okay.
You better be the bigger person because it wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be the best of luck. I wouldn't. But I mean, you know, going through this experience, what is something that you learned about yourself? Like, just the final word is, what have you learned about yourself from this experience?
What I learned from myself, I think in that very last date with Colby, it hit me when I realized I had to leave Colby. I was excited to move in with Jake, but I was also distraught because I didn't want to lose the person that I was with Colby. And I didn't want to go back to being the April that I was walking in that experience. I mean, I had so much fun. I was glowing. I felt like I could be myself. I didn't have to nag Colby. I was like exploring, was getting out more. And I was like, this is my pace. Like, this is the kind of person I need to be with. And I learned that like, it's okay if you look into someone and you just see like potential, but I don't want to sit there and wait for potential. I just want to find Mr. Right and go have the time of my life and go have the fun that I was having in the 3 weeks I was with Colby.
I'm just here for this new April. I'm here for the experience and the journey. I just want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to speak with me. I'm just so much love and light your way. Set that arm workout, set that out on social. And I just hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Mwah. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, how are both of you doing today?
Hi, wonderful. How are you?
Good.
Look, I'm doing good. I've been stressed. I haven't had anybody to talk to about this show. So, like, I'm gonna jump right into it. Look, the first question that I do have though is, I think it's always different being able to like watch yourself on TV, and kind of like be able to self-reflect. So for the first question, I just want to ask the both of you, like, after watching yourselves on the show, what is something that you thought like, hey, like, I'm gonna change that? Like, how have you just made yourself a better person for yourself or even for your relationship?
I'll take it. I'll go first. For me, I'd like to say I was very proud of myself, the way that I feel like it was kind of very dynamic change in me throughout the season. But if there's anything that I would have gone back and kind of changed more, maybe speaking a little less and listening, and taking more time to really take things in and be vulnerable and process them instead of taking an extra drink to get through it. I think that's my bit to grow on for sure.
How about you, Colby?
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to put it. Definitely, I would have slowed it down a little bit more. Been able to process it. There's a lot of things happening constantly. Quick changes that you had to adjust to. Sometimes blindsided because you don't know what's going on the other side of the wall, kind of thing. And you have to be able to adjust the best you can. And it was difficult, very challenging overall.
But let me dig a little deeper, because I'm not gonna lie. The roles kind of reversed. Madlyn, you was a villain the first half of the season. That was like, Madlyn, why you doing Colby like this? But things kind of shifted. So, I mean, have you had better conversations now? Because Colby, it seemed like you didn't want to talk about stuff all the time on camera. How has the communication been and the honesty?
Oh, it's been straight up. I was in the hot seat for the first couple of weeks of the show, and I feel like my butt's still burning. So it's been a good time for us to kind of recoup and have some real sit down talks and make sure we're doing the right thing for the both of us.
Yeah, I think the dynamic in our relationship changed to where it's not just like, what has Colby done that I need to protect myself. It's about protecting our relationship now and about growing forward together, choosing each other. So we're not choosing what's going to make us sound better or get us further on our own. I think that's been the biggest change. It's really just, we've taken an entirely different direction with that tactic.
I better put in the work. I'm here for this. I mean, Colby, for you, watching the scene Madlyn with you and your friends and kind of hearing like their thoughts about how they felt about you. Colby, how you feeling it? How is those relationships with the friends now?
Yeah, a little more distant than I thought. But no, it's they're sweet girls, and I think they were just kind of flustered by all the cameras and everything, and they had that girl power going on, man. They had her back, and I respect it. My boys would have done the same thing for me, so they feel like they were doing the right thing. And in my situation, it was just a hot seat that I couldn't really handle. So I was trying to figure a way out of it to where I could just have a one-on-one conversation about what was really at stake, which was us figuring out our problem and the issue between us and not a giant group of friends. So it's a lot easier and more respectful that way in the end.
Yeah, being outside of this experience, there's really no way to understand what we were doing.
For sure.
But my last question is, I want to know the decision to get married right away. Madlyn, for you, you were very opposed to it. And so I want to know, what was that moment like? Why did you feel as though that was the time? And Colby, for you, were you trying to get married right now so Madlyn couldn't change her mind later?
Well, I would have to say before the show, I was ready to propose. And I feel like this was a great opportunity in stage and something that we could remember forever. This day is supposed to be special whenever you ask that question. And I don't think it could have got more special than what I did. So it's something I felt was right.
Yeah, from the first date, Colby was like, "You're the one." My parents got married in 6 months, So I knew, he's always, it's like if you give a mouse a cookie is what I say. It's like, if I say yes, he's going to ask for something else. So I knew it was like, if we get engaged, I got to be ready to get married. There's no backing out. Like, it was, once I say yes, my answer is yes. So whenever he came with that extra proposal, I was ready.
Well, look, I just want to thank the both of you for taking time out of your day to speak with me. Just thank you so much. I'm sending so much love and light both of your ways, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Bye. Hey, how are both of you doing today?
Hello.
Hello, we're doing great. How are you?
Love the background.
I was gonna say, I love this yellow. Okay, give me some color.
Thank you.
One of the first questions that I have for the both of you is, I know it's always like this crazy out of body experience, probably watching yourself portrayed on TV. And I wanted to know for the both of you, like, what is something that you've learned about yourself, to help you be a better person, or also too, just something that you use to even use in your relationship?
For me, watching Hunter, he's like the most patient human ever and just kind and caring. So to see him kind of go through this process and have a lot of people also notice that, it was like, okay, these are great traits that he has that kind of I would love to have, because, my patients were just not there. But actually for me, going back and watching the show and actually learning from some of the couples, Randall, he in his relationship journey kind of just seemed really strong and mature. And I learned a lot from watching him actually. So I think there was a lot to take from, myself and going through the journey, but also from the other couples and their journeys as well.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, watching yourself, as you mentioned, and you're spot on, it's a very out of body experience, right? To see yourself on camera and to, see how you behave and how people pick up on you. For me personally, it's, continuing to work on, listening intently, being very communicative and open, and also expressing myself more. There are so many times where I was like, hey, you can, open up a bit. You don't need to be so, introverted, which is really where my personality tends to be. So that was the biggest thing for me. And as Alexis pointed out, I mean, learning so much from the other couples and their experience and watching how they deal with conflict and how they handle other day-to-day issues was inspiring.
I mean, now it was some craziness happening on the show, so we got to get into some of the talking points.
Oh, we have to.
I mean, one of the first questions that I do have is, Alexis, I know that you were very worried about being the breadwinner within your relationship. And I want to know, how has that perspective changed after watching the series for you, but also to Hunter? How was it for you actually, hearing that this was something that your partner was worried about in the relationship?
Yeah, I think for me now, that was something that was real that I was worried about, more so because of my background. And, my parents are divorced, and thank God both of them were working, because would my situation be different today if they weren't? And would they have the relationship that they had if, they weren't? So it was kind of more the back history. But it's so much less, it's really not an importance right now. What's important is like, we're happy, we're doing kind of what's best for us, and the trust and communication that we have. So at the time, I did think it was something that was really important, and it's just not the focus of the relationship today.
Yeah, and then for me, hearing it, right? I mean, initially you're like, whoa, and it's a little bit hurtful, right? Because she had some strong feelings. I didn't know about these, but it's like, hey, this is something that's important to Alexis. I love Alexis, so why don't we talk about it, right? And so I'm always very open and honest about where I'm at with my career, where I'm at with my finances. I feel very good about my career path and kind of where I'm going. And I want Alexis to as well. And so as we discussed, as she pointed out, we realized, hey, this isn't something that's a huge concern or needs to be a focal point of our relationship. We trust each other and we know it's going to be okay.
Patience.
But I think it's interesting that you bring that up, because a lot of times, like, we feel like things are really deal breakers for us. Mm-hmm. And then after you see, like, okay, so this is what life could be without that person, it's just like, it doesn't matter anymore. And I mean, I want to know, has that changed how your relationship is now after being engaged? Like, has really this experience, how has that changed your relationship for the better?
For me, when like I'm having a horrible day, like I'm so thankful that I have Hunter to go to kind of like vent, and just, he basically makes everything like, it's okay. I'm here for you. We're a team. You're no longer having to do this on your own. And I think for so much, even while I was dating Hunter, I have this like fight or flight mentality where it's really just me, and going through this process really put our relationship on the line, really made us trust each other. And so now having that like beyond you could imagine trust. It's like when something's happening to me, it's not happening to me, it's happening to us as a couple, and we're going to get through that together. And so we're stronger, obviously.
Yeah. And then in addition to what Alexis said, the experience really did help answer the question that I think a lot of couples ask themselves is, hey, is the grass greener on the other side, right? We got the opportunity and an experience to date other people, to see, hey, am I connecting with these people? If so, is that something I want to pursue, right? And we got to do it where both of us kind of agreed, right? Which is a bit of a unique and kind of crazy experience. But, answering that question, gives us a lot of confidence and builds a lot of trust, right? Having gone through that experience together, having both decided to be with each other really makes us trust each other more. And again, allows us to move forward in our relationship without, looking over our shoulder and seeing like, hey, should I go pursue something else? Or is there something better out there for me?
Well, look, I just want to thank the both of you for taking time out of your day to speak with me. Thank you for being honest. I'm just sending nothing but love and light both your ways. I'm wishing you nothing but the best in your relationship. And I just hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you
so much.
Same back to you. Really hope you have a good day and wish you nothing but success and happiness moving forward.
Thank you. I'm going to receive that. Thank you so much.
Please. Good.
Bye.
Bye.